So here I am in Axis Empires, just finished case yellow. You see the situation there, and now I've got an extra, I've gained 2 victory point spaces. So I'm at +2 now. That means when things start, right now I was at 0 to -4. I'm going to be down on the 0 box when we get to the next seasonal interface. I'd like to gain another one. I'd like to start boosting that up into the positive where there's some advantages. However, I don't see one. And here's the thing, I would love to declare war on something. This is the only one near me. I'm looking around and there are no other green boxes except London, which obviously I want to try to reach. But can I do it? I have a blitz marker, but I don't have a paratrooper, and I don't think I can land ships. I don't think I can get any troops into the North Sea. I'm going to have to look real carefully, and I'm going to have to, be working pretty hard on the rules to figure out whether or not I can get to Oslo. I've seen some indications that make it hard to do. If I can, I may cheat a little bit. Yeah, always in favor of the Axis, right? To try to get some of this up here into Denmark, which I own, so that I have a support unit in place. I don't know if I could have gotten it there. 3. I could have gotten an armor up there. For some reason, I didn't move this whole stack. So I actually could get it all the way up to the very tip of Jutland during the reserve movement, which seems perfectly fair. Where else could I go? There's nothing in the Balkans until Greece. I don't want to fight my way through Yugoslavia to get to Greece. And Greece would bring Russia into the war, from my understanding of the game. Another option? Well, down here in Egypt, but again, that's going to be almost impossible, I'm assuming. Any kind of naval action? I don't even have Italy in the game. There's no way that that's going to work. The question is whether or not maybe somehow the Baltic Sea gives me some advantage, but I can't see where that would help me get to Norway. I don't have those paratroopers. I don't see how I can get there, and that's just the fact of it. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to figure out if there's any chance of getting an additional space, because right now it looks like it's just the 2. I can't get through Spain to get to Portugal, which has one. I certainly can't get to London at this point. Not a lot of options. Alright. Okay, so I think, declaring war on Oslo, on Norway here. I don't know how this is going to work out. I saw something for one of the scenarios that explains that this can be done, but I don't know if there's going to be a chance with the Norwegian unit there in the force pool like it's going to be, and this comes away. I believe that's going to get defended, and it's going to be almost impossible to arrange. I saw all kind of tricky types of maneuvers to get troops into Norway. Oslo is not going to be trivial to take because of the fact that I have to declare war ahead of time. I don't know what to do, but I think it had to be done, and we're going to see reinforcements showing up there, problems with Narvik, whatever. But the complexity of the steps involved in making the attack that I read about online, and this is the historical, involved a few different options. One was dropping paratroopers here, turning them into infantry and walking back, but this involved attacking Denmark for the first time as well. There's another way where you put a convoy here and ship stuff in at the same time and get extra troops in place for working their way north. I'm just flabbergasted by the amount of complexity in trying to figure out how to get my troops there, and I wonder what these English troop convoys are doing here. Oh well, I'll move them there. They can probably go back to base. I don't know. Oh, they shipped stuff in. But trying to figure out how to get something that historically was easy, well, not easy, but historically happened, that involves working with the rules and trying to twist them in a way that allows you to do it really bugs me. Yes, it doesn't require any breaking of the rules. It's just, it's more a matter of the rules were made flexible enough to just barely allow this and nothing else. More intense, I don't know. It's just very painful for me to try to wrap my head around something like this. I'd have to probably watch it for it to work. I'm going to take a shot at it. Declaration of war is in place. We'll see what happens. I think I screwed up. What I don't like about it is something that reminds me of kind of the precision that's required in, say, Afrika Korps for, oh, I have to be in exactly this hex to get my attack to work well. Well, I don't like having to think that way. I mean, that's one of the problems. I'm not very precise. I like thinking the big, broad strokes. And I kind of want to just tell my generals, hey, go take this. I know it's complex. Go do it. And maybe there's a chance you'll fail, but just go do it. Most of the game feels that way. It really does. Maybe I'm playing it poorly. Maybe the game is actually designed for the person who can come up with this attack. But so far, I haven't felt like a lot of it's that way. Although I have to say, when I tried to figure out how to do the Tora Tora scenario, and now looking at how this is handled, it's almost like getting anything to work historically may be this kind of puzzle. And I hope not, because that would strongly decrease my enjoyment of the game, actually, if it's all about those kinds of puzzles and less about making these broad strokes. Most of it has felt like broad strokes to me, but it would be infuriating if I had to learn that kind of detail just to get the historical results, I think. I don't know. That's just my feeling. Well, as was mentioned to me, the game may be more forgiving than I feared there. So, in particular, let me take one of these back. One of them is used. The English started looking at the board and saying, okay, well, what? What if? What can I do? Well, definitely Norwegians going in to defend, but I pulled one British unit into Oslo as well. But here's the problem. I can't pull much in there. And Germany is not far from London either. They could do the same kind of trick that we're talking about, the land coming in from Cherbourg into Southampton, build a port there. So I had better, I think, and I have to worry about defending London as well, I had better put a unit over there. I've shipped one over into Oslo, help defend that. Hey, why don't I defend that from here? I think I've just covered my ass, as it were, but, and I've cost the Germans this, but it's kind of spread me a little thinner than I expected. And maybe, let me see if there's another port. No, I don't see another port. So it looks pretty safe as it is. The Germans don't have the ability to really force the issue with what they have here. They can't put that beachhead down unless they have an air unit. Now, what are they getting next turn? Well, not an air unit. So they're not going to be able to push the issue. They've lost Norway, but I don't feel too terrible because it does feel like they've forced the English into kind of a weird sort of position. We'll see how it all works out. And finally, on the Russian side, Greece was activated as part of the Comintern and have now become a full partner to the Russian army. And if the Russians can kind of move a step down to Greece, I don't know whether they can get through here. I doubt it. But if they can get, say, Bulgaria into play, well, then they can actually use one of their new headquarters. Well, they could use one of many of these, but in particular, I'm worried about the southern one, which they could add a Greek step to and have kind of something down there. But they don't have a way to get down there right now. It wasn't the Balkan country of choice. They would have much rather Romania as their ally, but it ain't what they got. All right, I think I'm done. And we move in to July, August, and I try to figure out whether those Germans can do anything. By the way, I screwed up. Norwegian unit couldn't move, so I had to put the British here into Stavanger instead. I think that's sufficient still to prevent the Germans from having a way. Oh, wait a minute. Germans can actually put a beachhead here, I believe. I don't know if they have the support units. They do not. They don't have anything to get the beachhead there. Again, they'd need the air or naval unit to get there. But that might just happen. And they can do the same to cross the channel, I suppose. We'll see. All right. Well, we'll finish up the summer and see what happens. Okay, so here we are in Axis Empires, and finishing up that summer turn. It's gone a long time over on the eastern, Pacific area. With the mud and everything, it's hard to take anything. And obviously, what cheating I did clearly put Japan into this position, because I'm having a hard time taking that hex. And there isn't a lot there. I mean, it's just kind of staying even, especially with the support cards that are in place. Now, this is something Thomas Prowl pointed out to me, which was, hey, not only did you cheat, but you didn't really support the Chinese. And I'm beginning to see what the effect is. But the thing is, if there's more than one place for the Chinese to place, there's going to always be a weaker spot, and you can attack there. So it may not be as devastating as what I'm seeing here, where I just can't get any traction at all. And I know that the nationalists are going to get wiped out. The problem is, I have these goals to convert some of these countries before, so that I get some of those victory point spaces aligned with me. Well, right now that's not happening. Over here in Europe, nothing good. Nothing good. The Brits are beginning to build up their defenses. Germany doesn't have the support units to be able to create the beachhead, and either Sea Lion or Norway is looking ugly. They should have never attacked Norway. They had some hopes, but they're just falling through, and there's nothing that can be done about it that I understand in the game. So, and I really should have somebody in Copenhagen, because my understanding is also that if you don't have troops in the capitals, and I may be wrong about this, because if they've become part of Germany, then I don't know if that makes sense anymore. But if you don't have troops in those, it's very easy for the Allies to sort of subvert the Germans. Oh, you know what I did forget though? No, I lied. Yeah, so this Blitz marker is going to go back. They're not going to get to play this anymore. And we're really, at a position where the Axis is stalling in Europe and paying the price for some of their bad decisions, perhaps, or my lack of understanding of how to play the game well. All right. It's definitely a hard game to get a feel for it. And like I mentioned, the invasion, the trickery you have to do to proceed with it. And to tell you the truth, this exists in Third Reich as well, where getting the historical results is difficult. But here it's much more difficult. It requires really a lot of gamey type play. Knowing the rules completely to be able, and not just, you can't just look them up. This is something where you'd have to not only know the rules, but have thought about them pretty hard to infer what might work. I mean, I saw the hoops they were jumping through to get this invasion to work, and it really kind of made me say, I don't know. I really don't know if that's my taste in a game. But most of it doesn't feel that way. On the other hand, it kind of is a shame when it's not fairly straightforward how to replicate historical events, and that kind of bugs me about it. Definitely will taint my flavor a little bit. Anyway, I'm loading this one up. Got some stuff in the delay box to put forward, but other than that, I'm pretty much set.